Morning in America by Mags. Set in 1983 Ohio, I assume we're looking at Mag's fantasy childhood. 4 girls do a Nancy Drew thing. Feels like Stephen King's It, where the town Derry has a vile underbelly, something evil, some evil worm in the heart of town. In Stephen King's books, the kids always go missing. There are posters up, but they just get plastered over with new missing kids posters. When a kid is getting attacked by older kids, a car looks and keeps driving. It's like there's an infection in the town. That's the vibe that Mags is going for. She should have played up that sinister angle with background shots of sidelong glances and creepy people with malevolent expressions. Give buildings an ominous tilt. Think of King's Black House, where they drive past the house and things get weirder and more malevolent. So the story has potential, but Mags ruins it with brown girl good, white guys bad, which is sort of odd because Mags is an Italian man, but for some reason he hates himself and other Europeans. It's racist tropes like this that ruin the story and turn off buyers. Most European Americans are awesome. They don't hate themselves. If you grew up in a mixed neighborhood, you know it's not the white kids who are catcalling. That's not a white trait, it's a Latino one, and it's not usually a big deal. But never in a million years will Mags portray brown people in a negative light. It's absolutely verboten. I knew plenty of white kids and Latino kids. Catcalling is about 90% a Latino thing. Some Italians do it too, depending on the neighborhood. The point isn't just that racist tropes like this are bad. They are boring. The bad guys are always looking like they come from Germany or England, because Germans are bad. Am I right? Another thing, the violence against the white people in this book, the kids, are always way out of proportion. The kids catcall the girls, so the Latina throws a glass bottle at them. Could have blinded them, but Mags has a history of violent fantasies. It's probably that toxic masculinity. Sorry, Mags. The scene where the dirty white guy is buying cigarettes from Latina is pure cringe. Kind of an odd message, Mags. Latina's a dope dealer, and the high school boy's a junkie who wants to buy cigarettes for some reason. Mags has lost the plot here. Then they fight for some reason. Because Latinas are good and gringos are bad. I don't know what Mags is going for here. It's just really sad. It's a ridiculous power fantasy. All things being equal, your average teenage boy would wipe the floor with your average teenage girl. It's just biology. Oh, sorry, it's probably a sensitive subject. The scene is only included so Mags can hit you over the head with the trope that white is bad and brown is good. Hey Mags, look at the crime rates in America. It's not the white folks committing crime. When SJW writers constantly portray the white guys as these violent criminals, the reader doesn't buy it. We know it's factually untrue, so we know the writer is trying to push propaganda, and propaganda doesn't sell books. Take a look at Mag's very low sale figures. Mags is a massively depressed socialist, and that depression is very obvious when you read her stories, and I don't mean that as an insult, I mean it as a statement of fact. Some writers can make the depression work for them, but Mags isn't one of them. Get some Prozac, get some therapy, and stop with the racist, misandrous writing. At least book 1 has a plot. Book 2, okay, let's take a look at this cover. You see this cover on a shelf, it's, I don't know what it is, $4. The skulls in the background look pretty good, that's intriguing. They're kind of portrayed in, they're not portrayed as evil or really sinister or scary. They're portrayed kind of a Silly Billy style. That doesn't really work. I mean, you know, scare the hell out of us. Give us an emotion. And the main characters, kids, but one of them's kind of a lesbian. Okay. Book 2 feels like more of a rough draft. It feels like filler material. If I was on Team Mags, I would tell her, dude, we aren't selling books. We don't need filler issues. We need to keep things moving. We need a fast, exciting story that grabs the reader. The story isn't good enough for filler issues. I mean, the point is that already you were selling to a very limited audience, an audience that is cool with racism and sexism and wants to watch a bunch of lesbians run around playing Nancy Drew. Basically, you're selling to liberals who feel bad for Mags, but there are only a few thousand of them. Mags must be making residuals from former books, because books like this aren't buying cat food. This book made about $8,000, but that has to be split. Oh, of course, the bad person, the white scowling bad shop owner, of course, Mags. Now they got to split $8,000 several ways. I assume they aren't paying the artist much because they used a different artist for the second one. Actually, a better one. I will give her that. The artist is an Eisner Award winner, but those awards are only given to gays or women, so they are meaningless. Eisners or Hugos don't sell books because they aren't based on merit. Go look at the Hugo Award winners. It's all lesbians and transsexuals. I'm not even kidding. Go look at the Hugo Award winners. Anyway, the only good thing about the book is the message at the end. Please consider adopting a shelter dog. Remember that the best breed is a rescue. They go on their little Nancy Drew mystery. The art is pretty effective, but if you tell me she won awards for it, I know it's not based on merit. The art is okay, but it's not exceptional. But it does. They set the scene pretty well here, especially with this use of colors. It's they're trying not to show too much, so they use what may be police lights, or you're kind of supposed to think of flashing lights from an alien or something. It works pretty well. I will give credit where credit is due. The whole ending scene works really well, but it also is. They show the alien grabbing the girl. I think that was probably a mistake. They should have went with a more mundane human threat, because the willing suspension of disbelief thing to sell aliens that's a really difficult concept. You have to be a master storyteller to sell that. But if you want to sell a story where the antagonist is human form, maybe an alien in human form, that's an easier tale to get past. It has the appearance of truth. We all know evil people, but lizard creatures, flashing lights. What was that movie where the guy makes he uses mashed potatoes to build the volcanic tower? I probably should look that up. That's what it's supposed to remind me of. Anyway, pet of the month, Captain Jack Sparrow, 14 years old, sleeping the whole day away. He also expertly guards and observes everything that happens in the kitchen. That sounds like most dogs. And I literally have my rescue dog here watching me as I read this. So consider adopting one. The illustrator, I deliberately did not look anyone up on Twitter this time. I don't want to see what these people look like because I know what they're like. I know it's all going to be just hatred of anyone right of Marx or Lenin. Just insane racism against anyone from Europe in general. Claudia is a queer comic book artist and writer. She's a GLAAD Award nominee, Eisner nominee, self-published comics. Oh, what a surprise. What a shocker. Newest series, Morning America, is on sale now. So this is the second artist. The first artist wasn't very good either. Anyway, these books they're depressing to read because it's just talent wasted. You went through all this effort to write these books that 2,000 people bought, or I should say 2,000 books were shipped. How many of those were bought? I don't know. I would love to see the paychecks on books like these. But my point is, you went through all this effort. You wrote a story. You edited it. You corrected the script. You made it. You polished it up as best you could, and then you went through the art, the rough drafts, the final editing. You went through a lot of work to put together a book, and some of the art is actually pretty good. And it's just not. There's nothing. It doesn't grab the reader by the stones. And they don't care. They're literally. Mags is a socialist, so she doesn't actually care about money. But we all have to eat, and there is pride in making a good product, making something that people want to read. And people don't want to read this because it's just boring. It's just God, Mags, grind your axe. Anyway, it it makes for a good review because it's just bizarre. But some things are done. Some things are cute. But I don't know who the audience is. It's not kids, because kids kind of see through this stuff very, very quickly. When they see characters that look like this, they don't want to be that. They don't want to read about that. They don't want. You got to really, really limit that use. But for mags, people in the SJW camp, that's just judgmental, and they can't. They have to make everybody as ugly as possible. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below.